Okay, welcome, welcome. So I already told Ashley, lots of our team is up in Wilmington, right? Exactly where Florence is pointing. So lots of them are evacuating right now. Huge prayers for them. Us in Miami, we are reminded of what that's like, just this time last year with Irma. But, while we were kind of getting things set up for this call, I was thinking about something that it's always there, but until you're in the minute of it. And I know, like Mary, when her father-in-law passed away, it was just like one of these things that we've kind of taken for granted. But so many other people in their jobs and their careers that they're paid by the hour. When something like this happens and shuts down your city for 2-3 weeks, and you have added expenses of evacuating, supplies, everything else, and then you're getting a pay hit on top of it, that can be detrimental, and it's really just such a terrible thing to have to endure and try and put yourself back together and everything. And it's always just such a flashlight on how lucky we are to have a business that runs while we sleep, that a team that holds things together, a paycheck that's still direct deposited. Like, it's incredible, and again, it's something that we don't think about on a daily basis. It's a good thing to think about, though, and this is a good reminder of, just one more benefit of having an online business, of having something like this that you can pick up and go. You'll still get everything else. I'm going to mute really quick. Sorry for that. So anyhow, lots of prayers for everybody in North Carolina, and we are here for anything that you need. Obviously, we'll be holding your teams together, and if you're catching this replay, know that we love you and we're thinking of you, and hopefully flow goes another direction. Goodbye. But if not, we are here for you. So a couple of really quick reminders before we jump in with Ashley. We had an amazing call with our team, our upline team last night, Diesel. And if you guys haven't already kind of filled yourself in on that, I posted the replay on our team page last night, actually, along with the Google document. I'm going to give you the 1-minute recap of what's happening. We are, for the fourth quarter, we've been trying to figure out what's something really fun that we could do to unify ourselves as a team, also to create this really strong fourth quarter movement. And, our team in general has been just amazing, catching speed the whole year long. So to put this as icing on the cake of this incredible year, it's just something that's really exciting. So what we decided to do was host the first ever Diesel Nation Olympics. And basically, we're taking the entire organization, whoever decides to participate, which I hope everyone decides to, and putting them in 5 teams. So that means, the leaders will be distributed, brand new coaches all the way up to elite superstar coaches. So you could wind up on a team with Christy or Becky or whichever else. So this is a really cool way for all of us to be able to, work in different areas with different people, find people that, aren't necessarily within our team, but are within our Diesel family, and really leverage everyone's strengths to finish this year in an amazing place. So the information, all the details about that, it's going to be a lot of fun, is in, like I said, that document that I posted on our team page. It's going to run for 2 months, October 1st through December the 2nd. And the registration is mandatory I believe it's the 17th. Don't quote me on that, but that gives you basically this week to get registered. It's $5. And that's basically going to Special Olympics, which is something that's, really fun to be able to pull together again as a community and do that. So I'll be busy in there, and I hope to see everybody in there. It's going to be an awesome experience. And if you also missed the National Wake Up Call yesterday with Meg, so many times I hear, and for myself too, I'm not the most excited person about inviting, but I do it because we have to do it. If we don't do it, our businesses don't move forward. I can work out all I want to in my garage, and if I don't invite people to do that with me, nothing's going to happen in my business. So yesterday on the National Wake Up Call, Meg put it in such simple, achievable, tangible terms that it was just like, Yes, this is so easy. This is almost exciting. I talked to Fran earlier. Like I almost feel excited about inviting, which is which is a nice fresh breath of air, right? So definitely, again, I reposted that in our team page. Make sure that you add that to your watch list this week and go through, take notes, and just start implementing right away. I think that's pretty much it. We have our South Florida Leaders Meeting for those of you who qualified on September 22nd, and Super Saturday, mark your calendars, is coming up October 20th. For those of you who aren't in South Florida, we have Joel coming in on Sunday the 21st. So tickets are out for that, and it's going to be awesome. So we have today a very special guest. I'm really excited. Did anybody have any questions about that? I see chitter chat about the National Wake Up Call. It was awesome. Any questions before we move on? Okay, I'm really excited. I got to meet Ashley a couple of years back when we were in Vegas in person for the first time. And I kind of tried to corner her. I'm like, Pat, she's young. How did you get her to focus? Because, it's always been in my head, like, man, what a ticket to the world to have caught on to this at a younger age and just really taken advantage of, the entrepreneurial opportunity, the opportunity to earn right away, the opportunity, just the entire experience. It's, incredible. But, I always felt like I was challenged in connecting with a younger market. And so I saw Ashley, and she was like doing all the things. And she was in Las Vegas at a personal development seminar. She was that serious about the business that she's putting money where her mouth is. She was traveling, going to these things, attending these things, investing in herself and her business to be able to grow. And grow she has. Hold on, let me find, because I don't want to misquote. She is 26 years old now. Don't you wish? I think most of us are between 30 and 40. 30 to 30s and 40s. She's 26 years old. She was a first grade teacher, obviously retired from that. She's a fur mama to 2 beautiful babies. If you ever catch her stories, they're adorable. 2018 Premier Coach. She's already locked in Elite for 2019. She's a nice 9-star diamond in her first business center, 2-star diamond in her second SC10 Legend, and currently, as of last week, ranked at number 22 in the entire network. So she is obviously killing it, doing all kinds of things right. So I was really excited that she joined us today and going to share some of her expertise with us. Ashley, thank you.
Yay, thank you so much. So in true teacher fashion, I'm going to share my screen if that's okay with you.
Absolutely.
I made a PowerPoint. So we're going to talk today about recruiting. But before I dive in, can you guys see this? Yeah? Okay. I do want to share a little bit about who I am. And I love that Amy said she feels like, I guess you're right when you say it's hard to kind of find people at such a young age that want to focus on something so untraditional, I guess. And for me, like, I wanted to be a teacher my entire life. I never once changed my mind. I grew up in a household with a single mom, in and out of marriages. She was married 4 times, and one constant in my life was always my siblings. And my mom was actually taking care of my mentally challenged uncle my entire life. From the day I came home from the hospital, she still lives with him today. And he didn't know how to read and write. And when I was going to kindergarten, first grade, I was learning to read and write, and it was like my passion, and I was bringing those things home to him, and I was teaching them everything I was learning. I was like reteaching it to him. And so that's where my love of like leadership and mentorship really was implemented at such a young age. And so my whole life I wanted to teach. I wanted to be a first or second grade teacher. I graduated from high school. I went into my undergrad. I'm from Rochester, New York. Went to college in Buffalo, New York. It came to like the last day of college, and I was dating my boyfriend, Tyler, at the time. He's now my fiance. And we did long distance, 6 hours of long distance. He was in Baltimore. I was in Buffalo, and we had to make the decision whether I was going to pick my life up and move it to Baltimore, or vice versa, if he was going to pick up his life and move it to Rochester. because of the lack of jobs in Rochester, I decided to pick my life up and we moved into Baltimore, straight into his parents' basement, because for anybody who knows, like living outside of DC or Baltimore, it is ridiculously expensive. I didn't have a job. I didn't have a savings account. I was fresh out of college, fresh out of student teaching. And luckily, you know, his parents opened up their arms to us and I moved into his basement. And so for me, like I was in the honeymoon stage. Tyler and I had been dating for like a year. We just moved in with each other. I was on a job hunt. I just enrolled in like my dream master's program at Loyola University to be a reading specialist. And I fell right into my first grade dream job. It was a teeny tiny little school right outside of DC. The only thing that really stunk was that I had to drive an hour there and an hour home every single day. And my grad school was an hour away from school. So I like drove in a triangle 3 nights a week. But it was fun for me at first. It was like I was 21 years old. I was in my dream career. I was making a salary. Like I was doing big things. I was in grad school. And then it was fun until it wasn't anymore. It was literally like this. All of a sudden in like December, you know, the holidays started rolling around and I'm like, I'm tired. Like this is draining my cup. And it was just frustrating, almost like defeating, being in a career where, like for me, I dreamt of, I never wanted to be a mermaid, a doctor, a nurse or anything. I wanted to be a teacher. And then I got there and it was like, this is like defeating. This isn't what I always dreamt for it to be. And so it came like January and I was like, okay, what can I do? What are the things I can control to make myself happier? I was now sitting at the heaviest weight I had ever been at, and just over 200 pounds at 22 years old. And I needed to fill my cup. I was consistently pouring into my education, pouring into my career, pouring into my first graders. I did what any 22-year-old would do with zero knowledge. I signed up to go to a gym. I went there and I ran 3 miles every single morning. Well, for like 22 days. And I remember just being like, oh, I'm doing the same thing over and over and over again. And I saw a before and after photo on social media of one of my childhood friends. And it was, I promise I'm getting to it. It was a before and after photo of like, she wasn't perfect, but it was a 42-day before and after photo. And she, in that photo, it showed me what I was capable of because I knew her as a person. I knew her story. She was a full-time nurse, and she proved to me as a full-time teacher, struggling day by day in my busy schedule, what I was capable of. In her story, I got to see mine. And so it was that post that helped me realize that I was capable of changing my life through health and wellness. And then it was that post that a month later, I was able to see, after falling in love with my journey, after joining her, I was able to see how truly capable I was to grow a business like she had because she was just transparent on social media. And so every time I share my story, every time I recruit to the opportunity, every time I recruit to a boot camp, it's something like that, I never say, well, I hope this doesn't annoy somebody. I hope, they're not hearing it too often. It's always a matter of, I really believe in my heart, and it's instilled in my core, that belief that I know I'm going to get somebody. By this post, I know that I'm going to attract somebody, another Ashley in this world, by sharing my story so that they can see themselves in mine. And so 3.5 years into this business, I'm now 26 years old. I cannot even believe it's been 3.5 years already. I retired from my teaching job in June of 2016. I hadn't yet finished my master's, and I almost dropped out of my master's. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish this for me. I went 7 straight months, got my master's, and in the last 3 years, we have totally, it's so crazy to say, but we've totally built this life that we are in love with. Our house is going on the market tomorrow. If the storm doesn't kill us, not kill us, but if it doesn't make us not be able to put it on the market, my realtor's really worried about it going on the market tomorrow. And we're in process of building our own townhouse, which we're really excited about. So this business, I always say, gave us the ability to really get out of our sheltered hut where we couldn't dream. And when I was teaching, I wasn't dreaming. I was getting by. I was surviving. And then this opportunity came into our lives, and we've just, Tyler and I both, he is every bit in this business. No, he doesn't do anything with it, but he is like my partner in this business, and it allows us to really dream. And so if you're not at that point in your business, I promise you it's there. You just have to hustle and fall in love with the hustle in order to get there. But my topic today is recruiting by using your story. And if there was any superpower in this business, it's the fact that you have a story that is so much different than everybody else's. And it is the one ticket for you to attract so many other people. And in 2016, when I quit my job and I wanted quick success, I stopped sharing my story. And I was just trying to connect with anything that had a pulse. And it really made me sit back and ask myself, well, who do I truly want to attract? And I wanted to attract the other Ashleys of the world because I could relate to the other Ashleys of the world. And I had known what they were going through, right? And so let's make it feel organic, recruiting and making it feel organic. This is my favorite quote ever. Other people's opinion of you are none of your business. And I have to remind my team of this consistently. We're all very young. We're all in our 20s, and we are consistently wondering whose feelings we're going to hurt, or who's watching us, or who's disagreeing with our untraditional career or whatever. And I just have to remind them that, you know what? And me too, I have to remind myself consistency of anybody else that I come across who doesn't agree with what I'm doing for a living, doesn't have my story, doesn't feel the way I feel, doesn't need to unfeel the way that I needed to unfeel. And that's not who I'm talking to. I'm consistently talking to the other Ashleys of the world who have gone through what I have gone through. And that's what's such an incredible piece of this business, is that we all have a story and we all have other people that we can connect to. So I'm going to share with you my 5 steps to no BS recruitment. So I have a 5-step system, and the very first one that I want to talk about, and I want to hear from you guys. So if you are on your phone, if you're on your computer, you can type it in the chat. I want to know what you love about the business and what landed you where you are. Maybe not so much about the business, but like what exactly was it that got you started? So when I was sharing my story, for me, it was truly that I needed something simple for my busy schedule, and I needed something where I needed like a sense of community that showed me, 1, I wasn't alone, and 2, what I was truly capable of. So that is like my one biggest piece of why I said yes to this opportunity. And so write yours in the chat, and I want to read them. Why did you say yes to this opportunity, and why did you say yes to maybe even like a boot camp or whatever you got started with? Purpose and community. Needed something to keep me accountable. It could be easy for a busy lifestyle. Absolutely. Cool. So as those trickle in, I love to do that type of, just with my new coaches, I like to do that activity with my new coaches, because what it is that got you started, what it is that keeps you going, needs to be something that you consistently talk about, because you're not the only person on the planet who feels that way. Whenever I share the part of my story where I just needed something simple and sustainable for my busy lifestyle, I attract so many teachers and nurses, because it's overworked and underpaid, and they need something simple. They need something sustainable. And so whenever I talk about that, those are the type of people that I attract, and those are the type of people that I can relate to. So whatever it is that got you started, you need to reflect on that and share, okay? So number 2, speak that into the lives of people going through it with you. So I want you guys to go to your Instagram, and if you're watching this recording, or if you want to do it later, just go to your Instagram and ask yourself, how often do you actually show people that you are building a business? And I'm not saying you have to say like, I am a boss, or I am, growing a bit. You don't have to say the word business, but how often are you showing people that you're doing something with purpose, that you're doing something with belief, that it's not just a health and fitness journey, but you're actually doing it to attract other people? And I find this trend in my coaches, where I look at the coaches who are consistently recruiting other coaches, and then I look at the coaches who are only really attracting challengers. So coaches who are signing coaches, and only coaches who are signing challengers. And I look at the trend, And the ones who are attracting coaches and challengers are the ones who are talking both about fitness, but spinning it and talking about how fitness has helped them build maybe an income or build relationships with this opportunity, or they're consistently talking about how they're hosting boot camps and stuff like that. And then talking about how the boot camps have pushed them into being able to create freedom, whatever freedom looks like for them. And so go to your Instagram and ask yourself, how many times can my followers, can the other Sarahs and Aarons and Debbies of the world truly see that I am not just on my fitness journey, but I am on my fitness journey to help other women start their own fitness journey? And so talk about it. Like, don't be afraid to talk about it. And Brittany Leggett is one of my favorite human beings on the planet. And she was on my team call a couple months ago. And I'll never forget, she said this well analogy. She kind of explained this well analogy to me. And it was the first time I ever heard it. And I want you to picture, that you're at this well, and it's a brand new well. And in order to create momentum, in order to create that water pressure, you have to pump that well. And so you want to look at that pumping as like a symbol of you sending your invites. Like Amy said, they're not fun, they're not sexy, but they have to be sent. And have some fun with them, have some fun and really attract the people that you can connect with, like the PB&J method that Meg talked about yesterday on the National Wake Up Call. I love it. I totally implemented it yesterday, and it's so simple, and I need to start simple. It's very good for new coaches as well. But so you're pumping this well, you're pumping and you're sending invites and you're sharing your journey, and you're just like hopping on team trainings and you're building relationships on your team. And this is the symbol of you pumping your well, right? Well, you can't see that water pressure start to build. This man who's pumping his well, he can't see that water pressure is coming, right? He just has to trust that it's building underground. And that's how this business works. At first, we just have to trust that everything we're doing is going to pay off. And all of a sudden you see one droplet. And there's two types of people in this business. One type of person in this business sees that one droplet and they are like, oh my God, I have been pumping for days and weeks, and this is all I've gotten from pumping and pumping and pumping. So they pump slower and then not at all, and they totally give up on their business. But then there's this other person who sees that one droplet of water and they look at it as, heck yeah, I've been pumping, and this is the start of so much more to come, and they start pumping harder and harder and harder. And also, when I think about that well analogy, guys, you have a worst case scenario and a best case scenario. You come into this business and you get in great shape. You build incredible relationships. You have fun. You maybe earn free trips, whatever. That's a worst case scenario. These are all things you can control. And then over here, best case scenario, you do all of those things. You get in great shape. You build incredible relationships, and you build total freedom. Like, it's a win-win situation. You might as well just stick with it. Make the commitment with yourself that you're going to be here in a year from now. And I promise you, the more consistent you are, the more trust that you're going to build with people, and the more willing people are going to be to sign up on your team. So I always tell my team, I'm like, it's not that I'm doing anything different than the new coaches are doing. It's just that I've been doing it longer, so we've instilled trust a lot longer with our tribe. And so you just have to make the commitment that you're going to be here, and you're going to speak it into the lives of the people going through it with you. And so what I mean by that is, if you're a teacher, if you're a nurse, if you are whatever occupation you are, maybe you're just, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom, or maybe you are an entrepreneur, have your own business, whatever it is, speak to those people, because what they're going through right now, you may have already been through, and don't feel like your story is not going to resonate with them, because that's how you're going to attract the people who stick around with you. They need to feel it. They need to see themselves in your story. Just like I saw myself in my coach 3.5 years ago when she posted that transformation photo. So my third tip for no BS recruitment is developing a safe place to help them understand more. So often I see so many coaches who are like, I can't sign coaches. And I'm always like, well, are you hosting a coach sneak peek? Are you getting them into a safe spot where they can learn more information? And you need to make sure you're plugging people into something. And so I host a coach sneak peek once a month. And the reason I do it once a month is because I have my boot camp that starts once a month. And then I can take those people out of the boot camp, put them into my coach sneak peek. And then if I'm hosting it once a month, I'm not talking about this coach sneak peek, this coach info group week after week after week. I'm talking about it one time a month. I'm getting people excited about it. I might have new followers who I can get excited about it. And when they hear it like every 27 days, it's not like, oh, here she goes again. I'm spanning it out of, over time about this opportunity. And so, you could do like a coach sneak peek. You can do like an info group. You can do like an email campaign, whatever works for you. I personally do a 3-day coach sneak peek. And my number 4 is create content that they can't say no to. So inside of this info hour, this coach sneak peek that you have, guys, you need to create content that you needed as a new coach. And so when I sit down and I think about creating an info group, and I host mine with other people in the network, like I've run it with other top coaches before, I've run it with just people who inspire me, I've run it with my leaders on my team, I make sure that I am talking about the things that Ashley needed pre-Beachbody. I needed to know how in the world I make money. I needed to know my coach's story, how she got started. I basically needed to hear her heart in order to show me what I was capable of. I needed to hear what she went through and her objections to why she didn't want to start, or maybe like her reservations of what made her nervous, because I want to know that I wanted to know that I wasn't alone in feeling that. And then I want to know how to get started. Like what is it that really, and I'm going to break this down for you guys in a second, but I want to know, like, from start to finish, what am I investing into? And so those are like the 4 things that we talk about consistently. And find people to run them with you who fire you up. If you're a brand new coach, maybe you're an emerald coach, maybe you're a diamond coach, maybe you're a star diamond coach, and if you're not hosting these guys, partner up with somebody who makes you feel passion. Drink your pre-workout before you go live in there, or whatever you have to do, your coffee. Pre-workout is pretty much my coffee, Energize. But find somebody who inspires you like crazy. And you need to make sure that you are bringing your fire into this group, because people want to feel inspired by you. If you show up and you are just, this business has really helped me pay for my car payment and I'm really excited about it, fire them up, get excited, talk more about your heart. What has this done? What type of relationships has it helped you with? Have you gotten into great shape? Are you a new coach? Maybe you've only been doing it for 2 months. Well, guess what? They're going to hit that point in their business where they're only going to be here for 2 months. And you have to talk to that person, talk to them, and say, I've only been doing this for 2 months, but X, Y, and Z. Get them excited about it. So when you create content that people can't say no to, you're getting them in the safe spot. And now you have these people to follow up with. So if you have a coach sneak peek group and you have, let's say, 40 people in there, these are the 40 people that you are going to keep talking to consistently. You're laying it out all on the table for them, and then you're just going to continue following up with them. And relate, guys. People want to know that, so let's talk about objections. The biggest piece of it is when it comes to the end and you're like, hey, like, you've gone through this coach sneak peek with me, like, I'm really excited about this. Or if they've just come to you and been like, what the heck are you doing? Like, how are you growing a business on Instagram or on Facebook? And they're like, yeah, like, I could never do that because I'm a busy mom, or I could never do that because I work 80 hours a week, or I can never do that because I'm not in perfect shape. Relate to them. Do not take no for an answer. You don't have to like draw it out, but if they tell you an objection, guys, relate. For instance, my biggest objection when I started as a coach was that I was not in perfect shape. And I didn't think that anybody was going to be able to relate to my story. I didn't think that anybody was going to take advice from me, because I was a busy teacher, busy grad student, and I was still over 200 pounds. And so that is something that I get consistently. I hear from women all the time that they're never going to be able to coach because they don't have the transformation I had. And so I always have to go back to who I was 3.5 years ago and let them know that people don't want a perfect coach. They want somebody going through the trenches with them. They want somebody going through the journey and just showing them what they're truly capable of. And so that's an objection I talk about. Another objection is time. So if somebody's like, oh my goodness, no way, I work full time and I'm a mom. I always say girlfriend. I'm not a mom, I'm a dog mom, but I totally know busy. I was a full-time teacher, I was a part-time grad student, and commuting an hour each way while living in my boyfriend's parents' basement and having zero privacy. So I know what busy feels like. But I didn't need anything more on my plate. What I needed was an outlet. And you just help them see that through your eyes, you know? And so break down these objections, and something you can do if you're, I mean, obviously you're on this call, so you're serious about this business, but I really suggest making like an objection list. Making an objection list of all of the objections you've ever heard, and then consistently squash them on social media. When I was a brand new coach, I was watching a training from Bonnie Yengle on YouTube, and I remember her talking about squashing objections publicly. And so I made this objections list of all of these objections I had, and then over time, all of these objections that I was getting from people. And so whenever I don't know what to post that week, I can go to my objections list and I can recreate a post, or I could reuse a post that I used. And so that'll really just help your tribe overcome the objections that you once had and ones that you consistently hear about. And it will help them see, see themselves and see themselves doing it. And then sharing your story. People want to know you've gone through the storm. So even if you're not breaking down an objection, letting people know that you are a busy this, that you're not in the best shape of your life. You're not this perfect person, but you're doing it. You're showing up to other people because you need the community and you need the relationships. So I'm going to break these down for you. So here are some of my coach breadcrumb examples. So I try to be like a very short and sweet caption type person and really get people by my pictures. These are just 4 ways that I have basically breadcrumbed coaching in the last couple of weeks, and just 4 different reasons to why I love this business. And so the first one is, as soon as I fell in love with the hustle started falling in love with me. And so here I am with my little beagle behind me in my office chair. And then at the bottom it said, did you miss out on my coach mentorship this month? Click the link in my bio and let's see if it's for you. So this is just like a snapshot of me. And I actually broke it down on my Instagram story after, but I am the happiest I've ever been in my life. My life is crazy. We're selling our house, building a new one, planning a wedding, everything. But I love the hustle, and maybe I work too much, but as the more passion you pour in, the more passion that you get out. And so something I consistently do is every time I post on my social media, I do go on my Instagram story and I might break it down a little bit. I posted yesterday about this, and then just kind of explain it a little bit more. The next one is, you can sit with us. So this is just how, these are a couple of my diamonds, just how they become my best friends. And then the next one is no PTO, no sub plans, no how are my students today, and just talking about what freedom has done for me. And the last one is, I was in California. One of my coaches, I'm in her wedding, and we were just celebrating her bachelorette party. And so what this has done for me, literally she found me on the Explore page a year ago, and I just kind of break that down in here. So just, breadcrumbing, so much more than financial freedom, so much more than, the freedom of time, really hone in on all of the reasons that you love this business and break them down consistently in different ways. And take some good photos, guys. Just get a selfie light, go in front of a window, have somebody snap a picture of you, get some good photos. Okay, so here's an example of my coach sneak peek. This is just one that I hosted last month. And so I do run them Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, because the reason that I do this is because Friday's payday. And so we open registration, well, for some people, we open registration on Fridays. And then that way we're not opening registration on Wednesday. And then people are like, oh my goodness, I don't get paid till Friday, but I want to do it right now. And then Thursday comes and they lose the excitement. And then Friday comes and by then they're like, well, do I really need it? Hopefully, the majority of people get paid on Friday, and then they can be like, okay, registration's not open, I'm ready to get started. So we do a 3-day boot camp, or a 3-day coach sneak peek, depending on how many people I run it with. Normally I just run it with 2, but this time we actually ran it with 4. So we'll do our stories Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday night we always talk about what is this and who are we looking for. And so we always set the tone. And so the reason I love this video is because we're basically saying we want hard workers. We want people who are in this to change their lives and help other women do the same in order to create freedom. We want people who are, not looking to get rich quick, but we want people who are here to pour their heart and share that passion like wildfire. So we're just really setting the tone throughout the week. We're letting them know that, hey, we're showing up to you. We will really appreciate if you show up to us. And I really like this video because it helps attract the people who or at least it just helps people understand that we're doing it for them. It just shows them that we're showing up for them. And then Thursday, we do all about objections. And so this time we created a video of all 4 of us talking about objections. And then what we did was we all chose one that we felt. So mine was, I wasn't in perfect shape. My coach's was that she was super busy, and then a couple other ones. And so we break them down word by word. Like, then people who show up, they're like, I felt that way. I really did feel that way. And then they can, send us a message, or I always tag my girls and let them know that, hey, today we went live talking about objections. I felt like I wasn't in perfect shape. I'm sure any objections or any reservations you had, we talked about it today, so make sure you hop in there. And then Thursday night, we talk about the ins and outs of numbers. And so just like how we make money, what like network marketing even is, how to get started, stuff like that. And then we open registration Friday morning and talk about what now, like what's next? What's the investment that I'm actually making? So we really talk about how you don't even pay a sign-up fee. You just literally start your health journey and you dive into a training. And then we open registration, and then we make sure that like you tag your coach below, and then one person tags a coach, and then another person tags a coach, and all of a sudden they're like, okay, all these people are signing up, I need to sign up. And so it just begins this thread. That's why I like hosting it with other people, because the excitement starts to come. Okay, if you guys have any questions about my coach sneak peek, totally ask it in the questions or in the chat. But the last one is getting organized. So I am not an organized human being. I am like, my house is organized and my life is organized, but for some reason I couldn't get my business organized for the longest time. I am like so stuck to pen and paper, and I would like send my invites on pen and paper. I would, do everything pen and paper. Didn't have anything on my computer. And then I left my entire notebook of invites at Summit. And I didn't even call. I was so mad. I was like, I'm not even calling and getting it. Like, I don't even want to deal with it. And that was, for me, that was like the wake-up call I needed to start an organization system. And so I developed a system on Streak. And so for me, ever since, so it's been almost 3 months of using Streak, ever since I started using Streak, it has helped me have more fun with following up with people. It's helped me have more fun talking to people, because I now have a place for them, and I know that I'm not going to lose them. I know I can follow up with them, and it's just helped me get a lot more yeses, because people aren't falling through the cracks. And so biggest piece of advice for new, old, veteran coaches, get organized. Find a foolproof system that works for you, and do not let people fall through the cracks. If you have somebody interested in coaching, if you have somebody interested in your boot camps, plug them in somewhere and make some type of reminder that you need to follow up with them, because the follow-up is going to be what people say yes to. They want to show that you are pouring into them and that you are interested in actually helping them find success, and actually interested in showing up and getting them to sign up. And so another thing that I love about having everything on Streak is that the people who like have links out, or the people who haven't answered my messages, I can go through them, and now I'm going to go to their Instagram profile, and I'm going to show them love like crazy, so that they see that I'm still here and that I actually care about them. Like Meg said on the National Wake Up Call, like going and just 531ing them, going on their Instagram stories, going on their Instagram pictures, and just engaging in conversation outside of your boot camp, and then reminding them, I care more about you than I do about getting money from you, but really building that relationship with them. And that helps a lot of people say yes, is when they see that you truly care about them. But find an organization method. Okay, that's all I have.
Sorry, I was stuck in mute. That was awesome. Really, really good. I had one quick question, and it's a technicality, but in your coach sneak peek, the coach stories, how long do you keep them approximately? Oh, hold on. How come I can't hear you?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Short, because I know that I'm somebody who doesn't, if I see like a 20-minute long video, I'm like, I don't have time for it.
Right.
So we try to make it like 5 minutes.
Okay.
And that's for every video. Like every video, even as far as like the money one goes, like keeping it short and sweet so people see it and they actually want to watch the video.
Right, exactly. 5 minutes. That's what I was kind of thinking. I know sometimes you go in and you're like, oh, okay, I'll come back. And then you don't even bother when it's.
Right. I never went through even a coach training because of that, because my coach had like 35-minute long videos. And I'm like, no. So I went to YouTube and found like 3-minute videos and taught myself everything that I know. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Awesome. Okay. Did you guys have questions? You got a big freaking successful brain on here. If you want to pick your head.
So Francine said I use Streak too, but I think I overcomplicated it with too many pipelines. I keep it so simple. And so how I created my Streak was exactly how I was using my pen and paper method. So on pen and paper, if you've seen my Beachbody Champions page, I talk all about inviting, my inviting method. I would hot dog style fold it. It would be 32 or 1 through 32 and then 32 through 60. And I would send 60 invites 4 days a week. And so I'd write down their Instagram handle. Once I invited them, I'd write down their Instagram handle. When they answered me, like if we started engaging in conversation, I'd circle their name. If I sent them a link, I'd star their name. And if they ordered, I'd highlight their name. And so for me, that's what worked for so very long until I lost my notebook. And then I decided to develop that system inside of Streak. So I just have I only have one pipeline. I call my pipeline organization. And then I have my 5 like ways to move them through. Number 1 is engaging in conversation. Number 2, talked price. Number 3, and I can send this to you, Amy. Number 3 is, so 1 is engage in conversation or fill out my form. Number 2 is talked price. Number 3 is link sent. Number 4 is current challenger. And then number 5 is coach sign up or coach interest and then coach sign up. And simple. And then I get this question a lot. I do not get their emails from them until like we talk, until they're like, okay, that price sounds good, but I need 2 weeks. No matter what, I get their email from them. If they need more time to think about it, I get their email from them. I just say, okay, totally cool. I totally respect that. Do you mind if I snag your email from you? And then we can talk maybe on Friday or something like that.
Yep. That's awesome.
How many times do you go back and forth with somebody before you invite? How do you phrase your invite? I'm curious. So I do not, I think the beauty of Instagram, I build my business 99.999% on Instagram. I think the beauty of Instagram is that it is so personal. If you follow me on Instagram, I am like an open book, everything from like the sale of my house to like my relationship. And so I feel like that's the beauty of Instagram stories, is that I don't have to go to somebody's profile and be like, I love your dog. Like, how old is your dog? Or, that type of thing. So I am straight up, if I'm like inviting to a boot camp, I'll go on my Instagram story and say, hey, we have 7 days until our boot camp kicks off. I have 13 spots left. I might pop in your inbox tonight and send you an invite. So just like take a look, make sure you take a look or pop in there later if you're waiting for an invite from me. I just like make it very organic, and then I just send them an invite. So I'm not like consistently in people's inboxes, but like asking them questions. But one thing that I always do, and I make sure to do it, especially if I'm scrolling on social media, is engage in people whose stories I am like watching. So if I like see somebody whose dog is super cute, I'm going to tell her dog is cute. If I see glasses I like, I'm going to tell them. And when I'm posting through, it takes 10 seconds to just send, especially if you're watching their stories. And then that way, when it comes to sending an invite, you've already engaged with them. Yeah. But yeah, I don't go back and forth in terms of like really truly building a strong relationship with them. And I know everybody's different. If that's something you want to do and it's working for you, totally keep doing it.
Yeah.
Where do you start then for follow-ups, or do you have the follow-up reminder? So for follow-ups, I just use my Streak. I put a date and when I add them. And then if we talked price and I didn't get a response, I usually follow up in like a week. But if it's people who just haven't answered me or are just not interested right now, I usually show up to them every single month. But the beauty in Streak is that you can mail merge people. And so you can like click. Like everybody who has a link out yesterday morning, I just clicked all of them and just sent a mail merge and let them know like how much everybody's loving their boot camp, and asked them if they'd be interested in getting started on a second round at the end of September. Because clearly they missed the cutoff of the first round. And so just being on top of the people who are in your streak, like just really staying on top of the people who need follow-ups and treating this truly like a business, guys, is going to be my biggest piece of advice for new and old coaches. Treat this like a business.
Oh, we gave you lots of questions now. Okay.
So do I think it takes longer to input in streak? Streak is so cool. So like what I did for I went into my coaching office. I got started with this 3 months ago. No, I did not. I lost my binder of everybody who I invited at Summit. So I couldn't even input all those people. But what I did do, I took everybody from my Coach Online office, like all my past customers, and you just have to, there's like a way for them to translate right over, and it goes right into your streak. And then other than that, I just started fresh. I started fresh with Instagram. But no, I don't think it's hard at all. I don't think streak, and I have a one-track mind. I like being quick. That's why I like streak, because I want to just get through them very, very quickly. But I do like it. If you don't have a system, and if your system isn't working or whatever, try streak. But if you have a system that works, don't feel like you have to change everything. How do you search for prospects on IG? Are there any specific hashtags? I do not use hashtags for searching people. I just invite people off of who's watching my Instagram stories. And so for people who are watching my Instagram stories, I know they're engaging in my content. I know that they see that I'm hosting a boot camp. So those are the people that I have the best traction with. But if you are not growing your Instagram, make sure that you are, because you need to get more eyes on you. For a long time, I just used Captivate. Captivate is an app on your phone where you can search hashtags to gain, if you guys don't know what that is. So let's say for instance, I use the hashtag I teach first. And I know Bonnie Engel talked about this, but you can search the hashtag I teach first. And then instead of using that hashtag, below it, you can find all the related hashtags. And then I'll click a related hashtag that's not used as often. I'll go to a popular page who uses that hashtag, and then I'll follow 200 people that follow them. And so that I know that they're first grade teachers or whatever, and they're probably going to enjoy my stuff. Or maybe I'll I love Tarte Cosmetics. I'll do that with cosmetics or Jesse James Decker or any type of people like that. Now I do use, what do I use? Jumper Media. Jumper Media is basically, it's exactly like Captivate, but it's a company that does it for you. So if you are looking to invest in your business, it's $350 for 3 months. And they've grown my Instagram from 3,000 followers to 10,000 followers in over 4 months. So if you are looking for something like that, but if you want to do it on your own, Captivate is the way to go.
Which is your rep, Ashley?
Allie.
I keep thinking she's the good one.
Yeah, I love her. And so at first I was getting really weird people, and I'm like, hey, Allie, can we reevaluate? And we did, and ever since then it's been seamless. I am attracting other Ashleys, and so it's nice.
That's exciting, yeah. Well, that's a good question. Since you're doing most of your work on Instagram, do you run your sneak peeks on Facebook?
Yeah, I do. I run my sneak peeks on Facebook, and so I'm sure you guys know what a Linktree is. I just in my bio on my Instagram, I'll have my Coach Sneak Peek link in there, and then they'll just click that, and it takes them right over to Facebook.
Perfect. Okay.
I have been thinking about maybe doing an info hour and seeing if anybody would be interested in doing something like that, a 30-minute to 40-minute info hour for people to hop on a video chat and let them know they can call in. They don't need to see my face. They don't even need to know that kind of thing, to attract other people who aren't on Facebook, or to attract people who don't want to be in a Facebook group. Just maybe something like that, but whatever works for you guys.
Yes. Okay. Did we get through? Thank you so much, Ashley.
Yeah. Sorry, Gavin's barking.
Yeah. So Michelle, if a lot of your Instagram people aren't on Facebook, you could always do a Zoom, with them, or anything else creative that you can think of. But there's definitely always a solution. But 30-minute Zoom or something like that would be really effective as well.
Yeah.
So, okay, I'm gonna let you go.
Thank you guys so much.
No, thank you. We love picking your brain, and these were some really, really, really solid tips. I know a couple of things I highlighted in the chat already, but just really quick to recap. The very first thing she said, guys, is, you know, she used to feel like, oh my gosh, and I hear this so many times, you guys are second guessing when you're putting it out there. Am I annoying somebody? And the first thing she said was, you know, believe in your heart. So even if you put yourself into state before you go out and send these invites or create your post or whatever else, and think about how you started. Think about how you've benefited from this. Think about the person who's going to experience these same benefits as you. Don't think about, you know, what you haven't accomplished yet, or about your failures, quote unquote, about all these different things. Think about what you have experienced, how that's going to help other people, and believe that that's going to help other people before you put that out there. Energy transmits, and she's clearly, you know, without saying energy transmits, that's what's happening here. She has full belief. And then there was another big thing. I always catch the woo stuff. These friends like, and how do you streak? And I'm like, and believe. There was another thing that was a big deal. I forget it. But you know what else I really like too, even it popped into mind, so I put it on a separate thing, is speak to your people. So, and a lady that I had connected with recently, I don't even understand how I connected with her on Instagram. She sells medical insurance, and she like hustles, and I love her. And she puts these posts about getting excited for medical policies. And I'm just like, so I messaged her the other day. I'm like, I have no idea how we connected, but I love your hustle. And then it's a long story, but I don't have insurance right now. Ugh. And so I was like, I'm going to own up to it. I'm like, listen, I don't have insurance. If you want to help me with the temp policy until January, that would be awesome. And she was like, the next day, I wanted to stick my head in the sand, but I was like, God, this is a great lesson. She puts a post up and she's like, hey, entrepreneur, I see you. I know you're kicking ass. And I also know that you don't have insurance. Be a boss and get insurance, you know, and I was like, oh my gosh, yes. But then I was sitting here thinking, if I'm speaking to other entrepreneurs, because maybe even that's what I'm looking at right now. How about, hey, I see you hustling and not taking time for yourself. Be careful you don't burn out. What would 30 minutes a day of, you know, exercise do for you and your productivity? Like all these different spins, but like she called me out. And then as you were talking about who can you speak to, you know, it doesn't have to just be your past life or this or that. Be creative about it. Cause like, honestly, I really don't care about talking to all the accounting managers. We're far between that were this awesome. No, I'm kidding. But, you know, really, really cool points. Thank you so much, Ashley. Really, really appreciate you guys on. And I'll see you back tonight.
Yes. Thank you. Can't wait. Bye, guys.
Yeah, bye.